Thank you for joining us for the Investor Shark Northwest. This annual event is a partnership between the Kirkland Chamber Foundation, Greater Kirkland Chamber of Commerce, and the Kirkland Performance Center, this place here. My name is Dave Dubois. I'll be an MC and also one of the judges today. I want to thank our sponsors for making this all possible. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Google. Their incredible support has been wonderful for us. Their continued commitment to sponsoring the future of tech innovation is truly admirable. To our supporting sponsors, Lee Johnson Auto Family, Giza Credit Union, Northwest University, and Murphy Business Northwest. Thanks for their generous support. To our participating sponsors, Wallach Volk Beth Johnson Group, Fina Flowers, Tom Douglas Group, Serious Pies. We had that earlier, it was awesome. Thanks very much for your support. This year, we are proud to feature 4 student groups from Lake Washington School District. This is one way we can support our next generation of business leaders, which is one of the central parts of our mission of this program. You will see 4 presenters from student groups. The judges will engage in questions and answers sessions with students following each presentation. One team will walk away with $2,000 as a grand prize, and the others will get $500 for making the final round. Again, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support of this program and the students participating. Now, for our judges, I'll do me first, so they'll start looking a lot better than me. I'm Dave Dubois. I'm VP at Banner Bank. I help a lot of startups that are in the early stages. I help out with their funding, but also with their management teams a lot of times. My real passion is around the nonprofit world. I've started up a couple of nonprofits myself that have helped local projects, but also on a national basis. I grew up in Canada. I love to do a lot of adventure traveling. I do a lot of sports, and one of the weird ones is I am a competitive curler, which is kind of a bizarre thing. Melissa.
I don't know if I can go next after. No. I'm Melissa Acton-Bizard, and I'm the CEO of Chameleon Technologies and Chameleon BI. And we are, well, I'll talk about Chameleon Technologies first. We're a boutique IT staffing and engineering firm. We also have a consulting practice that focuses on the data services space. And then my other company is a SaaS-based product that we sell to the staffing industry that's a reporting analytics software solution. And I live in Kirkland with my family. Glad to be here, big supporter of the Chamber, excited to be a part of hearing these students' vision for their business, and thank you.
All right, I'm Will Aurora. This is my first time judging here. I've done a few startups in my career. Currently, I'm the CEO of a startup called Charger.dev, and we provide businesses with real-time visibility to their financials. Let's see, I've played a few rounds of golf with Dave Dubois over here. So I enjoy golfing, and I live in Clyde Hill with a wife and 2 kids.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Andreessen Pillay. I'm an entrepreneur, executive coach, and I live in Kirkland with my family. I've done a few mergers and acquisitions of businesses. Currently own a business in the Kirkland area called Morgan Mechanical, which is an HVAC company. My real passion, I guess, is around executive coaching and mentorship. So when this opportunity came around, with the Chamber asking me to participate, I thought this was a great event, creating the next generation of entrepreneurs and thinkers. And I think somebody said this is the best of the best. So we're really privileged to be participating in this and being a shepherd for the next generation. Thank you.
Thanks, judges. Thanks for sharing. And now is time for our first presenters.
Hello, we'd like to start off by introducing ourselves. I'm Shivali Panda, and this is
Wilson Gang.
when we are here to introduce our product, the Hydro Daily Water Bottle. Before we start, we would like to be asking for a business loan of $200,000 with a 5% equity. So first, we have a question for all of you. Raise your hand if you drink enough water every day.
8 cups of water.
Three
Which
liters,
one?
does that sound right?
8 cups.
So could we
yeah,
ask, so obviously most of you don't. So could we ask why you think you don't? You can just shout it out.
Yeah.
It's not convenient.
Well, we're about the same, and so is most of everyone else. In fact, according to the New York Post, 22% of adults don't drink enough water every day. So that's why we created our product, the Hydro Daily Water Bottle.
So the huge problem that our product solves is that no one drinks enough water. We've all heard countless times we need to drink 8 cups of water every day. But we also know it's really just not that easy. And we know all the benefits of drinking water too, like more energy, weight loss or maintenance, clear skin, and lots of other stuff. But we just don't drink it. Sure, there are ways we can try, such as setting a timer on our phone to remind us. But none of us actually do that either, because it's just too much work. In fact, the New York Post says that 30% of people don't drink enough water because they think they're too busy, and 25% said that they just don't remember. We also did our own little anonymous poll, which you can see on the screen. And although the majority does think that they do drink enough water, there's still a significant amount of people who think that they don't. People have said that they forget, they're too busy, or they just don't care. For example, when we're engaged in our work, even if our bottle is right next to us on the table, it's very easy to just completely ignore it. So the main problem we have identified is lack of motivation. Our product solves this problem by creating an incentive.
We would like to introduce ourselves and why we're doing things first. We are Shivali Panda and Wilson Gang. We are 2 freshmen at LDub. I'm really into beauty, which is why I care a lot about drinking enough water to maintain good skin and hair, and I also plan into going into business in the future.
I'm Wilson, and I'm also in 9th grade at LDub. After high school, I want to become a business litigation lawyer. As you can see, we both want to go into fields related to business, which is why we're using this opportunity to increase our understanding of how business works.
Now we have a quote from our wonderful Leonardo da Vinci. Water is the driving force of all nature. This quote really defines our brand because our goal is to help customers stay the hydrated and healthiest versions of themselves, being in tune with nature. We chose our company name to be Hydro Daily because it keeps you hydrated every day. The Hydro Daily bottle is a water bottle with a Bluetooth device in the lid, which connects to our mobile app, which is also called Hydro Daily. On the app, you can set the amount of time between each reminder, and you can change the reminder to be an alarm or flashing lights. You can change the sound or color of the alarm, and lastly, turn off the alarm when you don't want it. How it works is when it rings, you pick up the alarm and you stop it, and then you would drink water from the bottle.
Okay, and then, so obviously the picture is just a very rough sketch, but as you can see, it's an otherwise normal water bottle, but on the lid, there's the Bluetooth device, which would be like a screen, and then there would be the alarm on it. So our product will work because the auditory or visual cues temporarily pull consumers out of their work and remind them to drink water, which creates a habit of drinking water every time the reminder goes off. We let you choose between an audio or visual cue in order to accommodate for all possible situations. For example, at your own house, you could use the audio cue to remind you better, but at your workplace, you would use the visual cue because you don't want to be as distracting to others. Therefore, we improve our consumers' lives by keeping them hydrated as they work or study, so they can receive all the benefits of water.
Our biggest competitor is a company called Hydrate Spark, who has a similar product, but our product trumps theirs because it is a lot less complicated. The Hydrate Spark water bottle has to track how much water is in the bottle, then gives you visual cues and tracks how much water you take per sip. Overall, it's just way too complicated. Our bottle is a lot simpler because all it is the alarm going off, then you drink how much water you want. And even drinking a little bit is enough because if you drink enough between short intervals of time, you will still be hydrated. To clarify, we are not designing the technology, but our supplier will. But this won't be a problem because our technology is rather simple. It's sort of like an earbud. We do recognize our product is quite highly priced, but our marketing strategy will convince customers that it is worth it because of the new technology, so we will not lose sales.
Now let's get into our marketing strategy and why it will guarantee our success. Depending on how much you've all been keeping up with social media trends over the past few years, you might know about the Visco curl trend during 2019, which Hydro Flasks were a very huge part of. Because of this trend, Hydro Flasks became extremely popular, and literally everyone had one, and you can still see lots of people holding them around now. We will make our product fit into a general fitness, natural, healthy lifestyle aesthetic and become a trend like the Hydro Flask. However, we are not limiting ourselves to a certain market, and our product also speaks to anyone who is interested in beauty or fitness, as well as students and office workers.
First, we will sponsor popular beauty and fitness influencers whose viewers are our target market, so our product will reach the right consumers. This will cause our product to become a trend among other influencers who we don't sponsor, but are also trying to fit into the aesthetic, who will show off our product and give us free marketing. We will mainly market on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram due to their high engagement levels, which will allow our product to appear in front of a high amount of customers. So when you're scrolling through your TikToks or your Instagram feed.
In addition, every ad will come with a 10% discount code, which will bring the price from $47 down to a more agreeable $42.30. This will increase demand because it will create a situation of an expected rise in prices in the future. We're doing this in order to make our ads stand out among the millions of other ads on these social media platforms. This will increase engagement and our ads will get to more customers. Eventually, we will also open pop-up stores at events our consumers will go to, such as fitness conventions. And then after a year, we'll start to sell in stores like Costco and online marketplaces like Amazon. Finally, we hope to expand our product line so our brand will become a household name and continue to thrive.
Now on to a brief recap of our finances and other information. Our revenue model is the production model. Our water bottles are $42.30 with discount and $47 without, and the production cost for each is $32. We have a profit margin of 25%, which means in total we'll make $84,000 in profit. Our main revenue streams will be from our sponsorships and from our website, and in later months, our pop-up stores. Our main expenses will be creating our website, buying from our suppliers, and paying a warehouse to store our products, plus our marketing.
And just to clarify, that was just for our first year. And because our product will become a trend, we expect our growth to increase exponentially over the next few years. So the rest of the things are very simple, so I'll just be going over them very quickly. So here's a slide about our production. So first, our supplier will manufacture our water bottles that we have contacted with our idea. And then we will resell our water bottles marked up. And then we will also rent a warehouse to store our water bottles until they can be shipped out. And they'll also be made with stainless steel. And then here's our quality control. It's also very basic, but the most important thing is that since we are a new type of product on the market, we know there's bound to be many problems. So that's why we will always make sure to listen to reviews and customer feedback and incorporate that into either changes to our product or new designs. And then for our after-sales services, we will have our water bottles arrive in a box with our 1-year warranty, our full refund policy, and a cleaning manual. And then here's some information about our company. So obviously the personnel is just us, but as we said before, she is more in charge of like sales and finances, while I do more operations and management. And then our supplier and warehouse we have yet to decide, but our website will be at hydrodaily.com, and on our website we'll have a store where you can buy our product, some promotional content of our products, such as ads or videos, and then we will have some customer reviews as well. Our short-term goal for our company is to make our one product very successful and trendy, and to meet our sales targets for the product so we can grow and meet our long-term goals for our company.
Lastly, we would like to talk about how we'd spend the money, and we'll use it to start up our business and do a few key things, such as make our website and app, contact a supplier to start production, and start pushing out marketing. In the future, we will work to pay off our business loan and then invest more in marketing and expanding our product line.
So as we've said before, we believe our product will positively change consumers' lives by helping them live happier, healthier, and balanced lives. Here are just some examples of consumers' lives it could impact. It could be the first step of a consumer who wants to turn their life around inspiring weight loss journey. Or it could be the start of a consumer who's always suffered from self-esteem issues stemming from skin problems, process to self-love and acceptance. Or more dramatically, it could be the one thing keeping the overworked college student spending hours at the library studying for finals alive. We have extremely high market potential because everyone can benefit from our product, even those that think that they wouldn't, because of course everyone needs to drink water. To make sure our product gets into our consumers' hands, we will use social media mass marketing by sponsoring popular health and beauty influencers to make our product into a trend, which paired with a discount code will create high demand for our product. We will slowly but surely overtake all of our competitors with our simple yet revolutionary design and trustworthy branding. But we are more than just a water bottle. We represent an aesthetic and a lifestyle. We are for those who strive to always be their best selves. We are for motivated people who have a clear goal in life. Therefore, that is why we are trying to make a positive change in the world and pursue our own passion while doing it.
We would now be asking for $200,000 with 5% equity that we will pay back in 3 years because our marketing is a constant cost that is a big part of our company, but we will be able to pay it back because our marketing will draw in a lot of sales. Thank you so much for listening, and please feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you very much. That was well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie Wilson, we're going to go through and we're going to ask you a couple questions. Melissa, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I was just curious. You talked about your profit margin, but it seems like the water bottle, obviously there's competitors in that space, but the key component is the Bluetooth technology that gives you the alarm, the reminder, as well as the app. Did you take that into consideration when looking at your profit margins when you were doing that in your financials, or maybe help me understand
Yes,
the development of that piece?
It is included. As we said, the production cost for each water bottle is $32. We did consider the technology in that, and we can assure you that even though the technology might seem cheap, it is not.
So
It's rather simple.
So our Bluetooth device is kind of like an earbud, right? So we've estimated the price of a pair of earbuds to be about like $50 to $60. So if it's just half of that, then that would be about $25. And then the actual water bottle part would be about maybe $5 to $7 to make. So we put that to about $32.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious about that. Good job. Thank you so much.
Well, go ahead.
Very creative idea, guys, and nice work on the business plan. I had a couple of questions for you. I'll kind of wrap them all together. One, I was curious how cheaply you could make this device, and kind of tied together with that, does it need to be embedded into the water bottle, or could you achieve the same goals and objectives for your customers if you had a separate device that you could just clip onto any water bottle? Maybe that would get your cost down a little bit. And I liked your marketing a lot. And one of the things that I've noticed as a trend are these sort of competitive fitness apps, and there's a variety of those that have popped up. And so maybe there's an opportunity for you to make water drinking kind of like a competitive activity and add that and get your marketing more viral that way.
Yeah, so thank you. And then first, so so we're like a new product. So first we want to test our product and make sure, figure out all the problems with it and solve them, and see if there's anything that we need to change before we make any really big changes, such as introducing a competitive feature. But we could always add that later. And then also about the Bluetooth device being attached to a water bottle. So our competitor that we mentioned, Hydrate Spark, their water bottle is kind of like that. So they have the actual water bottle, and then on the bottom they have their Bluetooth device kind of thing. But we read customer reviews, and according to the customers, it doesn't really work because the thing always falls off. So that's why we decided to embed it into our water bottle. However, if we are seeing from customer reviews that people would prefer to have it as an unattached thing that's connected to a water bottle somehow, we could also make that into a new product.
Yeah, that's great customer research. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's a really good idea. So I think I'm in a similar line. I think all the panelists are picking up on one theme, is that the cost of production seems a little too high for the price that you're selling it at. So if you think about trying to sell at Amazon or Costco and trying to get in mass market, your cost of production needs to be a third of the selling price. So your cost price right now for manufacturing this is $32. You're selling for $47. So if you think about the margin that's left over of 25%, it doesn't need really much to pay back your loan, spend on advertising, and those kind of things. So the one piece of advice I guess seems to be a common theme is your cost of production needs to be lower in order to accommodate the price point that you're at. I think the second thing I was going to say was that for a 5% equity for $200,000 means you're valuing the company at about $4 million. Is that correct?
In the future, yes.
Okay, so you got to think about that, right? So if somebody's going to put in 5% equity, you are asking somebody to value the company at $4 million, right? So you got to think about, how am I going to pay back that loan, because no one's going to lend you money for free. You got to think about how that equity is going to translate into future value for them. And the last thing I want to end off with is that I see that there's some opportunities with the pitch that you have. So, and it also falls in line with the cost of the production. So there's a lot of hydro flasks and bottles already in production. So I think your key differentiator is actually your lid. So if you think about the lid, I think there's much more applicability if you take that lid and be able to market it across all different sizes of flasks, because there's only so many different sizes of flasks, right? Because there's nothing, as I understand it, in the actual bottle that contains the technology. And I think people will be more willing to spend $20 or $15 on a lid that has tech than buy a new bottle that costs $50. So I think that's an opportunity for you there, and also to bring your cost of production down. And I think the last thing is I was going to say to you, you didn't speak too much about the app and whether there's an opportunity in the app for a subscription model. Because that could be another source of revenue for your business. But overall, I think you're hitting on the right type of product. Wellness has become a really big industry for people to invest in themselves. So I think you're on the right track. You just need to figure out some things around your cost. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Those are great questions because they're all on my board here. So I should have, as the MC, I should have actually started the questions so they had nothing left to say. So one of the questions I had was actually really around the lid, because I really think that's kind of a neat thing, right? Because we all have water bottles, and it'd be kind of neat if I just went out and bought another lid for my existing water bottle. But one of the questions I have for you is really about the experience around the app. You know, we've all got our phones with all the apps, et cetera, on that. How is your app going to stand out to make me want to go ahead and click on it?
Our water bottle does not send notifications to the app. Rather, the app is just something to set up the device from. So our app, we plan to make rather simple, like less complicated, because in our competitors, Hydrate Spark, a lot of the reviews said their product was a lot, like really very complicated. And we would rather not do that, because our whole point is making things simple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys did a great job. I applaud you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You get extra points for that.
Hello, Raphael here with GISA Credit Union. Education is at the root of our community outreach work, which is why we're super proud to be a sponsor for this year's Investor Sharks event. Education is so important that we have a special debit card. For every swipe, GISA donates to its foundation and awards grants to educators in schools in need of additional funding across Washington. You can visit your local GISA branch or visit gisa.com to learn more.
Hello, my name is Lainey Brackett, and I am the founder of Allerchic, the Epi bracelet. Anaphylactic shock. 2 years ago, my best friend Zoe was airlifted to Harborview Medical Center on her deathbed. What put her there, you might ask? A peanut. See, every day, Zoe deals with life-threatening allergies, and because of this, she tends to be forgetful and never brings her EpiPen anywhere with her. She says it's clunky, annoying, and impractical. And Zoe's not actually the only one dealing with these issues. It's much more widespread. In fact, let's take a look at some statistics. Across the globe, approximately 1.7 billion people are struggling with allergies, and there are more than 4,000 deaths each year from allergic reactions alone. Our new product, Allerchic, is here to combat this issue. A bracelet with an injectable cartridge of epinephrine used to temporarily treat a severe allergic reaction. It's simple, effective, hands-on, ready, and custom. By simply holding down the 10-second beep button and pressing to your outer thigh, a needle will surface, injecting epinephrine into one's bloodstream, thus allowing adequate time for the user to go get professional medical help. With the one and only on-hand, high-ranking allergic reaction device system, you or a loved one will never have to worry about allergies again. Now, of course, catering to our name, we will have customizable bands as well as colors, putting the chic in allergies and combining the fashion industry with medical. So in today's society, EpiPens are the greatest known solution for allergic reactions. However, they come with numerous downsides. These clunky gadgets are not made to be effortlessly carried or convenient. Not to mention, allergic reactions can happen at any time, and it's hard to foresee when one might occur. And finally, these things have a bunch of steps. You gotta uncap a bunch of lids, and this process is usually extended due to the user panicking. With AllerChic, the bracelet is constantly attached to your wrist. It's a comfortable, straightforward way of carrying epinephrine without having to continually be alarmed. Easygoing for all ages and sizes, you or a loved one will never have to worry about allergies again. With allergies being the 7th-ranked chronic illness worldwide, AllerChic will guard millions of citizens from life-threatening moments. So displayed above is a prototype of our band. As you can see, we have a comfortable wrist strap. Sitting on top is the cartridge of epinephrine. On your top right hand is the 10-second beep button, and to your left is the injectable needle. A pretty simple design for a task that will save millions of lives. And no need to worry about accidentally snagging the button or needle on clothing, as once the button is clicked into place, a 10-second alarm will sound to ensure that the user is intentionally pressing it. And if they aren't, they have ample time to disarm the alarm by just twisting the capsule. Smart, safe, and simple, the 3 S's. AllerChic is a smart way of safely injecting epinephrine in a simple bracelet. So our primary market are those with mild to severe allergies. Our target demographic is ages 5 to 18, mainly people who are still codependent on their parents. For our first year, we plan to drive sales through allerchic.com as well as amazon.com. We'll be selling in France and Canada, where epinephrine is currently legalized over the counter. And in the next 2 to 4 years, we hope to expand globally into more countries, including the United States. Our secondary market is drug and medical stores. As I mentioned previously, we'll be selling online in our first year and transitioning into brick and mortar stores into our second year. Really any stores, but specifically medical stores or anyone looking for a new and upcoming health product. So instead of just assuming the issues that people with allergies face, AllerChic took initiative and we went to the front lines to make sure that we were catering to the exact issue at hand. We interviewed an array of medical professionals, including doctors, nurses, adults, people with allergies, and adults who have teens who suffer from allergies, just to get perspective on the exact issue at hand. One doctor by the name of Ben Jackson informed us that this product could be revolutionary to the medical field. However, it's also going to be difficult to get people to transfer their trust from EpiPen into our product, AllerChic. So from this insight, we were reminded that we're not the only competition in the field. EpiPen is a product that's been around for many years and it's shown to be effective, but we're ready to show that we are just as effective. Through marketing, we're able to ensure lifetime customers. Once a user has purchased the band, it will be significantly cheaper to repurchase refill canisters than repurchase an entire EpiPen, which can cost you upwards of $650. So from this, we've learned that our 2 standing problems still is that unfortunately we will be unable to sell in the United States for our first year. As I mentioned, epinephrine is not legal in the United States over the counter, and AllerChic does not want to have to get this product prescribed, as it will be a lengthier process in our background scenes. So instead, we are planning on building our credentials in other countries and eventually getting medical professionals to help back us up to getting it legalized in the United States. And finally, we want to make sure that we're ensuring the correct prescriptions to everyone. So just making sure it's clearly labeled on both our website and in storefronts that you need to pick your refill canister based off your body composition and severity of your allergy. We've already agreed to terms with Shanding Manufacturing in China to build our product. They will be the start of our distribution channel. From there, our product will be shipped to our storage unit here in Seattle, Washington, where for the first year, we'll personally package and handle all of our goods, and those will be shipped in bulk to France and Canada. FedEx will be the one supplying directly to the customer. And as I mentioned, for our first year, just to reduce costs and need for staffing, we are going to be a family-run business. But as we continue to grow and things pick up, we'll be reassessing our distributional channels along with need for staffing. So as you can see displayed above are just the breakdown costs of building the band itself. It comes out to a total cost of goods of about $30, which you're going to turn around and flip for a wholesale price of $120. And a refill canister to repurchase is $30, whereas repurchasing the entire EpiBand, like I mentioned before, is upwards of $650. So we foresee in our first year of selling about 3,600 units, which will put us at $250,000. And our second year, we're going to go ahead and double that, and we foresee about $1 million and 12,000 units being sold. Just like our product, our competitive advantage is simple. It's the one and only high-ranking, on-hand emergency allergic reaction device. Easiest way to make sure that if you or a loved one struggle with allergies, they're protected at all times. So we're asking for $175,000 in exchange for 15% equity in our company and a 0.3% royalty on each device sold. So be smart, be safe, and simply order on allerchic.com today. Thank you, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach us at our contact information below.
Wow. That was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really well thought out. We're going to start this one out with Will.
All right, Dave, I thought you would want the honors after
I'm going to go last.
Excellent presentation, really cool concept and business plan. Thanks for sharing. I know you mentioned some of the research from the doctors that you spoke to. I was curious to hear a bit more about what is Zoe's take on this product. Is she going to wear it, commit to wearing it? Because I think that's a key user problem that you're trying to solve. And then what did you hear from other consumers that you spoke to?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely a main priority of ours was interviewing was the youth, since they will predominantly be the ones wearing the bracelet. And a lot of people really like the idea. They like the idea of knowing that they don't need to remember to bring something with them since it's always on them. And as I mentioned before, we're kind of like trying to combine fashion into it. So it's not a product that's like embarrassing to wear. You know, it looks like an Apple Watch from far away.
And so they said they would like to wear it, and you showed them exactly how big it's going to be. And I haven't seen an EpiPen personally, so maybe you can tell me how big this needs to be and how does it fit on the wrist?
EpiPen probably like this big. You know, you gotta like uncap it and like pull a couple things out.
So it's a baseball bat? Good.
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah, it looks like a weapon.
It's a hockey stick.
But yeah, the Epi bracelet, you know, pretty easy to.
And there's no need for it to be that big.
No.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, it's great presentation. I like the format that you took in your presentation, in that you focused more on the product and solving the problem that people face. And I think that's a really good approach. I think the question I think the main questions I think I have for you is that, something like this, in order to get it past FDA approval, past testing, is going to take quite some time. So I would expect it's going to take no less than 5 years, right? So you're asking an investor to come along for 5 years to put that R&D and testing into place. So I think that's something maybe you need to be aware of, the time horizon, as you were talking about after first year, but maybe after first years, after R&D approval and FDA approval, or whichever country you're going to launch it in. So something to consider, and that's quite a long, lengthy road to go down. But at the same time, I see lots of opportunities. So the opportunities for me that I think you should consider there's the easy road and there's the hard road in this fork. So the easy road is to patent the technology and license the technology and don't have to do any of the stuff with manufacturing, distributing, and all that. And if you do that, you'll probably be able to retire for the rest of your life on just licensing this product without having to do too much. I think the second opportunity is, once you have that patent and that licensing, what is its applicability to other diseases, right? And I'm no medical expert, but I can think off the top of my head that the technology could be applied to other diseases and other problems that people face for all the same reasons that you mentioned now. So those are my thoughts to you, and I think the idea of the road less work and the road more work but both have, will have, really good outcomes. I'm not so worried about the financials because I think the financials will stand on its own merits based on the product. And, apart from the fact, I was talking about the R&D and testing. So I really think from a financial point of view, I don't think you'll have a problem raising capital equity for this. But I think you just need to think about those couple of points. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll go next, just for something, and let Melissa finish it up. So I thought it was a brilliant presentation. I totally see how something like this should have been thought of a long time ago. We see, something like this with the diabetics, right? With the attachments that they have. So this is absolutely brilliant. And I don't know about the shelf life of an EpiPen. What is the shelf life? Do you know?
I think they expire about after a year. Yeah, right around there.
Okay, so there's be like a subscription thing that you would have to fill out?
Very similar. Like the cartridge would still expire after a year, but as I mentioned previously, it's much cheaper to repurchase a cartridge than an entire EpiPen itself. So it's just much more affordable.
That's brilliant. And because everything gets done better in Canada, I totally get that. But has any other drug company or product gone through the same stages trying to break into the United States by going through Canada and France?
That's a great question. I personally do not know the answer to that, but I'm sure there's been something like that before, yeah.
Cool, you did a great job.
Wild guess.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I like the idea of this product. I like how you pitched it. I liked your marketing. My questions would kind of echo some of the other ones. In particular, is there other like wearables in that space in these other countries? France and Canada, I have no idea. Is there something there? You didn't mention much about competitors, so I didn't know if there was something that was another type of wearable medical device. And then the FDA piece, I know that going through clinical trials or anything like that can be very cumbersome and a long process and sometimes prohibit you from entering the market. So I was wondering if you did research on that space, because it's an amazing idea. I just don't know those other components. Sometimes those can derail an idea quickly. It takes a lot of money to go through that process. I was just curious if you had done research on that or what your take was.
No, for sure. I mean, I think the main thing is what makes us so unique is there are no other bracelets or like medical bracelets like the Epi bracelet. There's none that are out there right now in the field. So like our biggest competitor is the EpiPen. And as far as, like FDA and getting everything approved, I think that's what we're in it for the long run, to say the least. Like, I think like most medical things, it's going to take quite a long time, and there might not exactly be like loopholes to expedite it, but we're in it for the long run.
But I love the idea of the subscription too, with the cartridges, and then the the trendiness of the bracelet, because you're going after a demographic that's young. So I think there's a lot of great ideas there. Yeah, great job.
Bonnie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Hello, my name is Nishita Bhakur and I'm the creator of Nibbler. The produce that we eat is harvested weeks ago, and after buying the produce, it takes on average 3 weeks for it to be consumed, at which point it has lost up to 70% of its nutritional value. Due to shelf life, supermarkets are also not able to provide a large variety of produce. On average, less than 5% of produce varieties are available in the national market. The current agricultural practices related to fresh produce are also responsible for large amounts of greenhouse emissions, food and freshwater wastage, and use of many toxic pesticides. In addition to all this, large percentages of households within the United States face food insecurity. Approximately 40 million individuals within the United States can't afford nutritious foods. This is where Niblet steps in. Niblet is a subscription-based service that aims to fulfill fresh produce needs of families and communities right at their homes. Niblet will do this by developing container farms that can house an assortment of organic produce customized to suit the customer's lifestyle. Our service can be broken down into 3 parts: setting up the container, harvesting the produce, and most importantly, eating it. Our technicians will set up container farms the size of large refrigerators at subscribers' homes. These container farms will be able to house produce equivalent to that produced by 500 square feet vegetable gardens. Our standard container will contain a combination of horizontal and vertical racks to house produce like bell peppers, tomatoes, peas, and celery. The produce will be chosen as per customer's choice made on our app. Customers can alter selection anytime they want, and on the next visit, our technician will start replacing plants to meet the customer's selection. So this is how our app would work. Okay. This will be plausible using the technology equipped within our container farms. Technologies like hydroponics and LED lighting have increased yield by around 15 times per square feet of space. This is in large part because of better lighting, well-managed growing conditions, and continuous growth monitoring. Niblet has designed the container to increase the space utilization even more with multiple shelf and grow regions, increasing the per square yield to 20 times. Traditionally, a family of 4 would require around 500 square feet of vegetable garden space, but by using these techniques, it can be reduced to 40 times to 14 square feet. Besides hydroponics and LED lighting, our container farms will also be equipped with IoT technology that will constantly monitor the produce to ensure they're pest-free and healthy. We will provide 2 kinds of subscriptions, family and community. The family subscriptions are targeted towards families in the top 15% income bracket who are progressive about their health and wellness and are willing to pay more money for sustainably produced foods. This will cost $600 monthly. The community subscriptions are targeted towards communities like retirement homes and those facing food insecurity who can't afford stable access to nutritional foods. This will be minimally priced and be funded through nonprofit partnerships and profits from the family subscription. Currently, the main competition in this market are produce delivery services like HelloFresh, which share a similar goal as us of providing healthy produce directly at consumers' homes. The way most of these services keep their produce fresh is by vacuum sealing it to reduce microbial growth. This limits the variety of produce that can be offered within their services, and worst of all the produce has lost its nutritional value after harvest. None of this will be an issue for us since our produce will be grown at consumers' homes. These services also require increased transportation and storage per subscriber than Niblet, making them have a larger carbon footprint than us. The monthly cost of these services ranges from $800 to $3,500 to feed a family of 4. Whereas Niblet's family subscription will cost $600 per month, and the community subscription will be minimally priced. So both from a sustainable and price point of view, Niblet outcompetes these produce delivery services. There has been a steady increase in popularity for fresh goods, while processed goods are seeing a sharp decline. To make the most of this increased popularity, we will target our marketing towards those who are progressive about their health. Since Niblet will earn the majority of its profits from its family subscriptions, which are curated to those who are willing to pay for sustainably produced food, our target demographic are younger families with kids, meaning we will focus our advertisement on websites used by younger generations like YouTube and Instagram. Along with these online advertisements, we will sponsor local events at places like farmers markets, curated for our target market of young families, where we will have activities that teach children the benefits of eating fresh produce. Our goals for the initial year of Niblet are to develop and pilot the hydroponic container technology, which can reliably monitor and sustain plants for up to 2 months without any human interventions. In the following year, we will focus on gaining 500 family subscription containers and set up 5 container farms in 5 cities by the end of the first year. This gives us an annual run rate of $3.6 million. By the end of the second year, we're hoping to have 5,000 family subscription customers and 10 community farms in 50 cities. This gives us an annual run rate of $36 million. If we continue with this growth, we should have at least 100,000 customers in 1,000 cities by the end of the 5th year, resulting with a total of $720 million annual run rate. We also hope to keep our subscribers subscribe to Niblet's family subscription for at least 3 years, meaning their lifetime values are $21,600. Per customer, there are numerous expenses we will face, like the container, the produce, the maintenance, and the setup. The setup and the container are both one-time expenses which will cost around $2,000, while the produce and maintenance are ongoing expenses which will cost approximately $50 monthly. This means we will profit approximately $17,800 per family subscription. Besides this, we also have a fixed R&D cost of $2 million per year to further our container technology. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Nishida?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You did a great job. That's a big project.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Anderson. You're going to go first, and then me.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I think first of all, congratulations. I can see a lot of thought and effort went into putting this together. Presentation was fantastic. The idea that you're trying to solve for is also great. I think what I loved most about your story and your idea is that you're thinking big. So I think there's a scalability to your idea that can be done. And again, I'm not going to focus on the finances and the cost, but I think the scalability of it is really good. I think your target audience is, spot on. And I think that this is I think a real world business opportunity. This, barring all the regulatory, again, things you have to do to get your product certified and approved for sale. Have you thought about doing a little bit more work into what that all means yet?
I haven't looked at what I would need to do to get my product approved by the government, but I believe it wouldn't be as complicated as other products since it is agricultural based and a lot of agricultural practices have already been approved, and we are just using hydroponics and it's put into a container and that has been approved before.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well done. Okay, so now you get me, which will be easy. So you talked about a point in time on a subscription basis that there's without human intervention. So if I don't have a green thumb and I'm having this stuff grow, am I having somebody from your organization come and do the pruning, and how does that work?
So we will have bi-weekly technician visits, and we will only give you products or produce which is ready to bear fruit. And they have seasons when they're bearing fruit. So when it's over, we will collect that produce and put them in our warehouses till they start bearing fruit again. And then we will replace them with those which are bearing fruit. So you don't have to worry about maintaining the plants or anything.
So it's like when I go to Thriftway and I buy a plant of basil.
Yeah.
It's all ready to be picked.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're going to have the tomatoes ready to go.
Yeah, and we will also have IoT technology, which will ping us and the subscriber if anything goes wrong.
That's brilliant. The other question I had was just on the size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe it was 3 by 7.
Yeah.
How do you see that work with a regular house that isn't on the lake that's 18,000 square foot?
So our product should work for any home. It can be outside in the garage. If you have a big house, it can go in the kitchen. But we want it to fit anywhere. And for the community subscriptions, we aren't doing the community subscriptions for profit. We want to give back to our community. So those container farms are going to be gigantic because they're going to be feeding large communities, and they can pick whatever they want, whenever they want, with minimal pricing.
Yeah, and my passion is around nonprofit stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's really where the real market is there. So it's brilliant. Melissa?
Yeah, I agree. I love the idea of what you're building, and I like the problem it's trying to solve. I think it's huge. I'm curious with you have the container and then the app and I guess the plants. I was going to say seeds because I didn't get that part, so that was helpful. So are you using third parties, or what is your company focused on? All three of those elements? Or are you outsourcing portions?
We will work on all of those. We will have warehouses in each state. If it's a big state, we'll have multiple warehouses which will house our plants. There will be those which are bearing fruit, but we want those into our customers' homes as quickly. And we will have those which are in the process of bearing fruit. And then we will create our own app, but that shouldn't be too complicated, since the only thing we want in our app is that Our customers are able to choose how many plants they want depending on their container size, and this will update our technicians who know what to bring. Yep.
So you put considerations in for all three of those things and the
Yes.
cost associated. Great. Yeah, great job. A lot of data. I really liked it. Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, I guess I'm going last so I can ask more hard financial questions. But first, thanks for your presentation. And it's a topic that I'm personally excited about. Like I've always dreamed of having my own little hydroponic garden where I can get super fresh vegetables. But from the research that I've done on this topic, the costs are significantly higher than large scale farmed crops. So can you go into maybe bring up your slides or go into a bit more detail on how do you get the cost down
So
to
initially,
be cheaper?
we'll be starting off in severe debt, but we want to reuse our containers. Like once a subscriber unsubscribes, it's not like the container is gone. We're going to collect our container back. We will repair it, obviously, but those are all costs which come back to us. Like the container is ours, and we hope to keep the plants alive, so those can be reused. The app is obviously reusable. So in the long run, it will be profitable.
Very nice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
you
thank
did an amazing
you.
job.
Thanks.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Hi, my name is Annika Joshi. I'm a freshman at Tesla STEM High School, and I'm the inventor of SipSafe. SipSafe is a patent-pending device. I've spent the last 2 years working on it, and after several prototypes, I had my device ready this summer, and I made my first sale this October. I would like to share with you a short video that shows you why we need SipSafe. Did you know that the buttons on the average water fountain have more germs than a public toilet seat? Studies have connected rotavirus, the most common cause of diarrhea in toddlers, with water fountain surfaces in daycare facilities. According to the Water Quality and Health Council, buttons on water fountains are one of the most contaminated surfaces in schools. It would be much safer to have a touchless fountain. However, it takes thousands of dollars to replace a water fountain with a touchless one, not to mention the price of plumbing. Not everyone can afford this. The old model that is removed will also have to be disposed, adding to our landfills, so there is environmental cost to the community as well. Introducing SipSafe. SipSafe is a snap-on device that instantly makes your water fountain touchless. No installation cost, just snap on and you're done. The water fountain is now touchless. It activates as soon as you approach for a drink. For less than $150, install SipSafe in your facility. Prevent the spread of disease and keep your community safe. The SipSafe mission is to keep everyone in our community healthy and happy, one water fountain at a time. The social impact is what drives me, but when I started studying the space, I realized that there is a huge business opportunity as well. Global trends. The recent pandemic has significantly increased our awareness of touch-transmitted spread of illnesses within institutions, communities, and companies. As we move to a post-pandemic phase, businesses and public institutions are prioritizing health and safety and completely changing the way things are done. There is a global trend to make things touchless. You can see these changes in the tap-and-go credit cards, QR code restaurant menus, parking payments, and many other technologies. We feel that eventually all water fountains will either be replaced or retrofitted to make them touchless, and this presents a huge opportunity to us. Our target market spans public and private establishments, which include schools, libraries, businesses, parks, shopping centers, offices, warehouse, sports facilities, healthcare centers, community centers, senior living facilities, daycare, religious centers, and community spaces. So the total addressable market for SipSafe, which includes only indoor drinking fountains in the United States, is $129 million. As you can see, this is a huge market opportunity. My growth plan for SipSafe is to crawl, walk, and then run. I have a detailed plan for each phase of growth. "2023 will be the crawl phase for SipSafe. During this year, I will focus on a small part of the market. I will sell devices locally in areas I can visit often to collect customer feedback. My goal in this phase will be to give my customers great customer service and be there for any questions or problems they may encounter. With relatively smaller sales, I can easily replace any defective products, and I can make changes to my design to improve SipSafe based on feedback from customers. In the year 2024, it will be all about reinvesting profits to reduce cost per unit. I will do this by investing in a mold, so the outer shell of SipSafe can be made with injection molded plastic, and by increasing the size of production runs. Finally, in the run phase, year 2025 and beyond, with the ability to manufacture at scale, low unit costs, and larger marketing budget, SipSafe will grow exponentially. Based on my sales forecast, I would need to hire employees to handle shipping and selling. At this stage, I will sell SipSafe through physical stores and online marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart. I will launch a new outdoor model so SipSafe can be installed in public parks. This will help expand the total addressable market. Here are SipSafe's sales projections. My strategy for SipSafe is to initially donate some pieces to local businesses to help them realize the value of using SipSafe. So initially, I'm going to take some losses on the business. This loss is basically like a marketing expense that will help us spread the word. In 2023, I plan to increase marketing spending marginally, work on reducing costs while keeping price the same. This will help me gain some early profits in 2023 that will be reinvested in 2024. In 2024, the cost per unit would be low due to injection molding, allowing me to increase the marketing spend tenfold. The additional marketing spend, along with the lower price, will help increase sales and set up SipSafe to the run phase in 2025 and beyond. The next 3 slides show the trends in these areas. This slide shows how revenue and profits are increasing. And this one shows how the reduced unit cost is passed to the customers by reducing prices. Now let's talk about the marketing budget for each year, followed by the marketing plan. I will install SipSafe at libraries and for pilots with city offices. This will give SipSafe a high visibility and create a buzz. During the next year, I'm going to promote SipSafe in schools and provide demos at local businesses. I already have a website, and I will use social media to expand SipSafe's digital presence. I will also contact news channels and the press to create more buzz. In 2024, I will start spending heavily on paid advertising and invest about $25,000 on industry trade shows and booths. Finally, in 2025, I've budgeted $40,000. I will start spending on online B2B advertising through LinkedIn and Google pay-per-click ads. Pricing is one of the key reasons why customers do not replace their drinking fountains with touchless ones. I want to make SipSafe affordable to all, so all drinking fountains in the United States can be touchless one day. Over the next 3 years, my plan is to constantly reduce price. My profits will come from volume sales rather than margins. My target price for SipSafe is $70. I can achieve this by 2026, making SipSafe a no-brainer for all customers. I can achieve this goal even earlier if I receive funding. All current competitors of SipSafe are expensive, require installation, and some of them are touchless to fill a bottle, but you still need to press a button to drink from the fountain. I have a trusted relationship with a manufacturer based in China with reliable and quick shipping lead times. He has been manufacturing the electronic parts for SipSafe and will be able to manufacture the outer shell when I have larger order sizes. I have no employees as of right now. I have sold 3 units to customers so far, and I am on track for the sales projection of this year. The Kirkland City Council is currently piloting SipSafe, and I am extremely excited about that. I have also planned an installation at Tesla STEM High School. Hopefully this will lead to LWSD adopting SipSafe. I am also in talks with the Redmond City Council. We are highly encouraged by the level of excitement that our customers have shown for SipSafe, and this slide shares a few testimonials. I leave you with the photo journey of SipSafe. Thank you for listening. I will now take your questions and your investments.
I'm really surprised you just didn't drop the mic and walk off. That was really well done. I'll start the questions if you don't mind. One of the questions, I think the product itself is brilliant. I think once you start in the schools, all schools will be like, okay, you know what, we have this water fountain, and instead of replacing it, this is going to save costs. I think it's wonderful. But my question is around the all water fountains. Not all water fountains are the same. So did you look at that piece of saying, okay, SipSafe clicks onto this one really nicely, but what about the ones that I'm putting my thumb on?
Yeah, so that's also part of the plan for 2026. As of right now, it only fits on the most popular or 2 of the most popular brands of water fountains. And in the future, we plan to help it add a clamping mechanism so that you can just clamp it onto any kind of water fountain, no matter what the shape is, and it'll just press itself on and it'll stay there. So this one would be our outdoor model, so it'd go into outdoor fountains, and it'll also be more stable so that it can't be weathered by or damaged by the rain or by kids. So that's our plan for 2026.
Well done. Melissa?
Yeah, great presentation. Very well thought out, researched. I loved the video. Good job. I was curious more, so you talked about eventually reducing the cost by building a mold and using that for the product. Have you looked, I see that there's a huge market, but I'm looking, are there other ways for you to take the technology in the mold and apply it to other products or industries? I'm always thinking of how it could be leveraged after you kind of dominate this market, which I'm sure you will do. Have you thought about that? Or?
Yeah, I have actually. So I realized that this mechanism can be applied to many other things to make them touchless as well. For example, opening doors, sometimes there's an accessibility thing for you to press the button, but that also spreads a lot of germs. So I was thinking as a future plan, I could have a way to have it snap onto that, and it could make that open touchless as well. So that is a part of the plans. It's something we're going to work on in the future. Yeah.
And then I was also curious with, I know you mentioned that you have a patent, but how would it work with the manufacturers of the water fountains? Obviously, you're saying you've already spent this money on this water fountain. Now I have this easy piece of equipment that can bolt on to solve that problem. But would you have to compete with them eventually? I'm just curious if they might come up with their own technology, or if you've looked into, that might be a loaded question. I'm just genuinely curious about how that would impact sales, or if they might be a competitor, if that's something you thought about.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I haven't yet looked into that very deeply, but I've heard of other products where they snap onto products. For example, I've heard of a product that snapped onto a car, and it helped it prevent from a self-driving car, and helped it prevent from crashing into people. And the company didn't have any problems with that because it just improved their product. So I don't feel like they would have any issues, but I do need to look into that further.
Yeah, thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. Thanks for sharing your idea, and congrats on the early sales. That's really exciting
Yeah.
to see.
Thank you.
I think the timing of it is perfect. As you mentioned in your presentation, I think everybody's more in tune with how diseases are spreading. And so kind of on that topic, and I love the simplicity of your idea. I was actually curious, is there an even simpler solution? Could you have like a box of like tissues next to the water fountain? You just grab a tissue and use it to push down? I'm just challenging you a bit here.
Well, that is true. There are many other ways you can solve this problem, but it does like waste a lot of paper, and we don't want to keep wasting paper by pressing it with the tissue. It is like a solution that exists as of right now.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm also a data guy, and so one of the things I was thinking about is you have some installs in schools. Would you be able to get data from the school about the number of sick days per kid taken per year, and show that that's lower post install than it was compared to other schools who haven't had the install? So something interesting to keep in mind that I think could help build up your marketing materials.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Thank you.
And then the last question was, remind me, for your go-to-market strategy and getting additional sales, what are the big methods that you plan to do that right now? I know you mentioned some local installs, but thinking bigger, is it mailers? Is it phone calls? Is it email ads? Or how are you going to get to bigger distribution?
Yeah, so as of right now, we're not scaling it as much, but we're planning to do something like virtual calls where we have a big virtual meeting where we can talk about it and spread the information to multiple people, kind of like a webinar. And emails are also part of the plan. I've already sent a few emails to others, and that's how I got for some of our first few installations. And since this isn't at a very big scale for our first year, I can also consider just going to the facilities and talking to people over there, and that has worked in the past as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, great product, well thought through. I like the narrative that you're very coherent and understand the problem deeply. You understand what the solutions are. And I think, it's got a lot of potential. So I guess, I like the other panelists, I think there's opportunity to expand this into making other devices touchless. And I think you're onto something. I guess there's couple points I wanted to add for product design. So you got a great idea, you got a great narrative, you identify what the problem is, you got a good solution. So when you put a patent together, it's always about trying to protect what the real value is in the product. And I think you may have done that. I think the thing you may want to consider is partnering up with somebody that's in product development. That's going to take your technology and your patent and make it a little bit more broad market appeal and fun for kids, fun for people. So that's something you may want to consider, the product development aspect of it. I'm not sure if you went into the detail of the cost. I can't remember exactly. Did you mention what the cost was of the device?
Okay, so currently the cost, we're starting at $150 per piece, and we're slowly going to reduce it as it costs less for us. As the price becomes less, we're going to start reducing the cost as well.
That's your sell price, right?
Yeah, our sell price is $150. It costs us, as of right now, because we're 3D printing it and it costs a lot of money, it actually cost $180 for us to make. But soon that's going to be costing a lot less because we've got access to a 3D printer now, which we didn't have before. And we'll only need to pay for the filament and not for someone else 3D printing it for us.
Yeah, so I think when you're thinking about these phases that you're going through, you've got the right idea. You always talked about cost reduction, which is, I think you're mixing the words up maybe of cost and sale. So the sale price, bringing the price down is great, but you got to think about the scalability aspect, because I think the future of this is the scalability, right? How quickly you can scale it and how many different functions you can add to this for other products that can apply touchless to their mechanisms. And I think the other really positive thing about it is the simplicity, right? So it doesn't require someone with technical knowledge to install it. You don't require some special device, special tool. So I think that's all really good. So yeah, I wish you well with this, and I think you're onto a really good idea.
Thank you.
Annika, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Claudia Smith. I own the Kirkland Redmond office for Murphy Business Northwest. At Murphy, we ask business owners the most important questions. Do you have an exit strategy? And do you know what your business is worth? I'm a proud sponsor this year. I won't be there to judge. So I'm wishing all the candidates good luck and everybody have fun.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to sort of deliberate in regards to the 4 presentations that we had. Let's talk about the first one, if you guys don't mind. Hydro Daily. So what are your thoughts, Melissa?
Putting me on the spot.
That's how I do.
No, I mean, all of them did a phenomenal job. It's kind of awkward having to pick them apart or pick a winner. I like the idea. I do know it's a huge trend. I have a teenage daughter, and the Hydro Flask was huge. But the technology piece, I was still confused about the cost model, and the focus seemed more, which I think was wonderful. Their marketing was spot on with influencers and some of the ideas they had. But I guess I was still a little bit confused around the pricing model and the technology and how it would all work together. I don't know. Someone else can.
Yeah. Well, I can actually, one of the things that I thought I was really impressed by, the theme I saw in all 4 of these presentations was on keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Which, is actually not a really easy thing to do. Like I think when I was in high school, I wasn't starting a business, but like coming up with new ideas, you tend to like overcomplicate it. Yeah. And they were also listening to a lot of customer feedback at this stage, which is really impressive to see. Because that's also something where you can think you have a great idea, but maybe not everyone else gets it. So with Hydro Daily, they've done a nice job of looking at the competition and, seeing what didn't work and innovating on that, which was great. I am worried about the price point. And I'm also a little bit worried about the value they're giving to the consumer. They're selling it on is like it's going to improve your skincare and your health and all this stuff. But as they also pointed out, people don't drink a lot of water and they don't even notice that it's affecting their skin. It's not, so I don't know how that is going to resonate with people.
Interesting?
Yeah, I think overall very impressed with all 4 of the presenters and the ideas. I think the one thing that I was really impressed with is, given my age and how easily technology is molded or blended into all 4 ideas. And I think one of the presenters said, "Oh, that app will be easy to make. It'll just be better." I was like, "Okay, that sounds great." But what I'm really saying, to summarize, is that they have all run with the technology idea. They're all addressing a real-world issue, and that all of them have an opportunity to scale their products that they're looking at. So as far as our first contestant is concerned, the first team is concerned, I think the Hydro Daily's real target, if I had to give them any advice, is to focus on the real part that's the real differentiator, which is the Bluetooth technology, which is embedded in the lid. And I think it'll kind of even take that simplified idea and simplify it even further and be able to scale it, because there's so much Hydro Flask and water bottles already in the marketplace. And I think that's where the opportunity is. The second opportunity is, I think they spoke about the app, but it was more about the app being a reminder service to them. Whereas I think the app could, either link with, the existing products like Apple Health or any of the other products that help people generate it. And, as I get older, I discovered something really weird, that as you get older, you're less likely to feel thirsty than when you're younger. So you actually don't know when you're thirsty. I don't know what the health issue is with that, but I think there's an opportunity there for them to target this at that market that actually doesn't know that they're thirsty and need hydration, and they need to get it. But overall, great idea, and I think it has a future, and it is very scalable.
So as somebody that's older than you, I'm probably parched not even knowing it at the moment. I probably need it more than that. That was just a reminder. So I agree with what you guys are saying in regards to this group, where I like the idea of the scalability of multi-lids would make sense to me because I have more water bottles than I need. And I probably, because of my age, start using them. But I really like them. And I think there's something there, especially if there's pain points with the competition that's already present. There's obviously some people that are already using it, but I'm not sure if I would adapt to it, unless it was something that was on my Apple Watch or something like that I'd be like, oh, it's reminding me for some reason, and I'm trying to make thresholds throughout the day or week or whatever my goals are.
Yeah, I do think though, as someone that has a lot of water bottles at home, those lids do not transfer to other. Right. So I don't know how that would work if you're just focused on the lid, because I don't have any of my water bottles that I am always struggling to find which one goes with which bottle. But yeah, no, I think it's an interesting concept, and definitely they made a great presentation and strong marketing. And the only piece I think we all kind of shared, I was just confused around the pricing because
maybe it's a band. Maybe it's a band that actually goes around water bottles.
I think they said that's what their competitor does. It was more of a clip or something of that nature. But
I'm not the smart one in the room. You guys are.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just.
Okay, let's go to the second one.
Allerchic.
Yep. I'll start on that one if you guys don't mind. I thought this was brilliant. I can totally see this niche market. Whatever the size of an EpiPen regular is, it's obviously too big. And as someone that does a lot of hiking and strange travels, and if I had allergies, I'd rather have something that's available to me. And even though I'd have to be worried about what or eating on a constant, but that would just be a wonderful safety net that is there. I also wondered if it was actually a possibility, just like the diabetic piece, where you could actually hit a button if I'm going into some form of shock of some sort. If I just instead of taking it off, just leaving it on and it automatically go in, which I thought would be an interesting thought. But I also don't think getting into the United States with something like that would be as hard as we think it is, because it's just how it's transferred. It's not a new drug that's going in. It is just a transference mechanism for that, for the patient, in my opinion. But I don't think FDA would have a lot of upper lip sweat. It's just probably the competition of EpiPen that would be fighting against them on something like that. Guys, just thoughts?
I think the idea is really good. I think as you just mentioned, I think there's probably an underestimation of how long it's going to take to get to market in any country. I think the two roads that I would suggest is either the licensing of the technology and then sell that technology, license that technology to drug companies, because they know their drugs, they know the efficacy of what they do, they've got the quality, they've got the R&D already there. So what you're really selling them is that transfer mechanism of how you treat yourself. And then I think that there's an applicability to other medications and other items that they could use it for. So I guess maybe I'm lazy, but that's the route I would take. And then there's obviously the route of continuing on the path that Allerchick is on, which is to make the whole device, which is also an option. So I think in front of her, she has many options that are all really good options. I guess, she will have to decide how she takes that forward.
How would you actually coach her if you had the opportunity of the first option of licensing, etc.?
I think the first thing would be, similar to what our last presenter did, is to spend a bit of time on doing the viability of that actual transfer mechanism, right? So what does that look like? What does that technology look like? And how will it work? And either partner with somebody that's in this field already in biomedical technology or medical devices that would be able to partner with her once she's secured enough of the intellectual property to protect herself from it being poached from her. And I would concentrate on that piece first before concentrating on the drug side of it, because that I think will be able to be used across different fields. And then that old saying, stick to your knitting, stick to that versus trying to compete with a drug company selling the drug.
Yeah. It sounded like there's still a bit of work to do to make sure that it is going to have a high enough efficacy rate, right? And I think there's a bit of an unknown as to how much that's going to cost to get through even the Canadian and French regulation. Very innovative product, though. It's shocking that the EpiPen is so big and hasn't been innovated on. So really, I think there's a big market there, a big opportunity, good solution, and the yearly recurring revenue stream almost guaranteed because you have to replace the cartridge is a big boost for the business there.
Okay, well done. Now let's go to Niblet. I really like this product in regards to the nonprofit realm.
Yeah.
That and Melissa and I've done different work in this area, in this field, in this area. Food insecurity is huge. A lot of lower income individuals can't afford fresh food, and fresh off the vine is beautiful. And if we can get away from large agricultural companies that actually come up with some really good fruits and vegetables, I think it'd be beautiful. The issue I have is I just finished doing a remodel in my house. I don't have space for a 7x3.
Well, you have a wine fridge, Dave.
I could just see it. Take the tomatoes out and put in Chardonnay. Yeah, it'll work. What do you guys thought?
It's cool concept. I like it a lot. I'm kind of curious as maybe the capital cost of getting started is quite high for these things. Maybe there's like you're saying, a nonprofit or a government partnership route where in some of these areas that are kind of called food deserts, where there's not a lot of healthy food, to get started there. Maybe
there's a lot of
finding the right place to get started, I think, would be important.
Yeah, I thought it was a great idea as well. I guess for me, what I was trying to get to was the cost of obviously the fridge or the big container system, manufacturing that, and then you have the app, and then you have the plants. It's almost like, would you maybe outsource one or two portions of that to increase your profit? I don't know. Those are considerations I would think about if I was starting this business. But I love the concept. I love the vision, her tagline. I thought the research was well done. And there's definitely a need for something like this in the market. It's just there's still, I think, some due diligence that needs to be done before you can enter. There's a lot of
community gardens throughout the United States, right? And we have one by our house. And walking the dog, and I see that the food is actually dying on the thing.
Getting
where
wasted.
I think if this was actually in a food bank type area and people are actually taking this, I think there's just the optics is so wonderful to it, and maybe it encourages other people to do something. And if I had the nickels to be able to afford to have something like that in my house, maybe I would do it and put it in the garage or something. I like the idea. I love good produce.
Yeah.
I think, firstly, Nishita, I think, just listening to her and her whole thought process and presentation and the idea, I think she's really operating at above graduate level kind of. If you saw this presentation, you wouldn't think it was somebody at high school that's put this together. So I really compliment her about that. I really compliment about thinking big, because a lot of the previous presentations I've seen, in previous years, it was kind of like not as the big thinking like this. So thinking big is great. I actually think there's two sides to this coin. I think the one side of the coin is the community garden food bank approach. I also see there's an opportunity, if one can imagine a Whole Foods kind of setup where people actually have pay premium to get this from their local city store that brings you fresh produce that's really at your doorstep and in season. I think there's a premium to be paid for that. People already pay a premium for buying organic food. I can see them making that one next step, where they will purchase something that's literally homegrown in their backyard, not in their backyard, but in a communal setting, but at a higher price point. So I do think there's applicability for this across those different areas. But the thing that I like the most is that there's so much thought gone into this. It's data-driven. It's very slick. The whole idea and the concept behind it is really good. And I'm sure we're going to hear about Nishita being the next, in the vein of Elon Musk or something like that, because I think she has that entrepreneurial thought process.
And a lot of passion for it, too.
And a lot of passion for it, yeah.
As you were saying that, one of the things that struck me also is that, we always think that everything revolves around a city, right? The food deserts within the city, et cetera. But, when you start going to rural America and you go into a store and look at their produce aisle and just like, okay, that's been there for a month. That's not good. So having fresh produce local would be brilliant, but I'm not sure how you would get it there. Yeah. That's the only problem, because they're bringing the plants.
Yeah, there's a similar startup called Ugly Fruit or Ugly Vegetable.
Yeah,
yes,
that kind of aggregates, and I was following their story, and the biggest issue they have right now is the distribution logistics, right? Like potatoes are grown in a certain place. Now to get the ugly potatoes to a place that doesn't grow potatoes, the whole logistics. So what this, I think, solves for is taking out the logistics issue out of the equation once you establish it. And there's going to be some capital cost towards it. But I can definitely see that it's scalable at a local level.
Yeah, well done. Okay, SipSafe. Who wants to start on that one?
I want to start. I think, again, just the maturity in the thought process and the whole business plan and, starting the patent, getting devices sold. I think that's brilliant. I think there's a lot of people sit back and think, wow, what could we do to solve this problem of, whatever it is, water fountain or anything else. And what Anika has done is gone forward and made that step from idea and concept into something real. And that I really applaud her for. I think there's some work that she could do around the product design, which I think maybe partnering with other people will help speed that along. But I think she's onto a good thing, and I really like the simplicity of it. I think as somebody else said on the panel that, the ideas are really simple, really easy to implement. So I don't see any barrier to this concept taking off and making its way into all schools and public facilities and so forth. Thanks.
Yeah, I think she has the opportunity to move even maybe a little bit faster than her own roadmap had. I know it's easier said than done. But one related topic is you never know how long the enhanced sort of germ virus sensitivity from COVID will last, and that's clearly one of the things that has spurred the idea and powered it along.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought she did an excellent job with her research. Even she, used a 3D printer and had someone actually build a prototype and then went out and sold her concept. So she's already seen that it does work and in real settings. So I think she definitely, it's a business that she could scale. I think the cost point is low. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously she's working on reducing her cost to build, but for the potential consumer, it's a great price point. I was just curious. For me, I'm always thinking, where else could you maneuver? Right. And she's already thought about that.
Yeah,
so.
I actually thought that she did an amazing job. It was so easy for all of us to grasp right away. The fact that she had these testimonials was also huge. She's already tried it out. I think the design piece and the cost is an easy obstacle to overcome. You know, the 3D printing stuff, my son does all that stuff. I think it's really interesting. It takes a long time to do 3D printing, but what he does now is that he goes online and says, okay, I need this part, and he orders 50 of a certain part, and next you know it, he has it and it's manufactured perfectly for him at a low cost. And he could do that, you know, through, or she could do it with just cutting out metal and making it work. So I think it's easy to adapt, and when it comes down to the marketplace and not trying to get into the marketplace, and I agree how quick it could be. I've done work with a bunch of different school superintendents. Once you get into that realm, it's just like wildfire. One superintendent goes for it, another one. Next, you know what, Rectal says, yes, let's have it throughout Washington. It goes really quickly, and then it's across the United States. So, and that's just in the school. So I think she's onto something that can take off tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. We want to announce the winner of the this event that's the Teen Challenge. And the winner is, I used to have a drum roll, SipSafe. You did an amazing job. Thank you. And the reason why we picked you, just want to let you know, because we thought the other four were amazing. And if I was going to go ahead and hire people, it would be any of you guys. You guys are all amazing. So the reason why we picked you is you had a product that was ready to go. It was already being utilized. You had testimonials. And we really saw that it was scalable quickly. So thank you very much. And we hope to see all of you. You guys can come on out. Everybody can come on out. We hope to see all of you guys in the future running corporate America. So thank you very much.